can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn they stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keeta. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. He shed real blood, I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron, boy, young G's. And I'm a self-made man out of Sweden. And it's still off top, I'm tweaking. But I still gotta fight my demons. I ain't no good, I'm evil. I ain't been clean since Eden. It's a war going on outside. Make you put your hands on your head like the Macarena.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the WAG show. This is episode 22. It is Tuesday, March 14th. I'm your host, Ben Hassler. We're here to talk about today's best bets. The NCAA tournament is here. It officially starts tonight, but no one really counts that until Thursday because these are kind of the like the play-in games or the first four, whatever they call it. But there is college basketball tonight, and we also have the NIT starting tonight. So there's definitely some stuff to watch. And then obviously we have NBA, another 7-8 game slate. They've kind of had this for a few weeks spread completely out to where there's no huge slates, but no small slates. It's kind of in between 6 and 8 games, I feel like, for the last 2 weeks, which I won't complain about. I don't mind that. We're going to go through maybe a little college stuff. We're going to go through NBA injuries for today. We're going to talk about some NBA prop picks. Yesterday, the Pistons severely let us down. Not only did they let us down, they ruined one of my Pacers bets too because the game was just like a blowout. It was terrible. Thank you to whoever liked the stream. If you're in here, like the stream, it helps us out. We do the show Monday through Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, showing off the free tools, the premium tools. Spike, what's up? So my question for you guys to start out is, we did the March Madness video yesterday. If you guys have not watched it, go check it out here on the YouTube channel. It's like an hour long. Myself and Dom, we kind of went through the bracket with Travis, talked about our favorite matchups, upset picks. We talked about who we think is going to be in the Final Four. We gave out our champion picks. Dom and I are on the same champion pick. It's not really like a secretive champion pick, but I think that it's a smart one because it looks like it's not going to be the most popular pick overall, which I like. So go check that video out. It's here on the channel. But if you guys are in here, who you guys like? And I actually this morning I normally make 4 or 5 brackets. I made 5 to enter in my groups, and then I have my main one that I'm going to enter in the larger money ones that I'm in. So who do you guys like to win this year's tournament now that you've seen the bracket? Tried to watch on Twitter, but it sucks. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't think it's my internet. I haven't seen my internet messing up today, so I don't think it's my internet. It might just be I don't know. Maybe it's just the I don't know. Maybe it's the thing that puts it on Twitter. That could be. I have no idea. I guess I've never really tried to watch it back on Twitter. I just know that it goes on there. But thank you for tuning in on YouTube, Dewan. We appreciate it. Dewan, who do you like? Who do you guys like to win the it's Twitter? Yeah, it probably is. Who do you guys like to win the tournament now that you've seen the bracket? I'm curious. One person said Alabama. I think that's pretty chalky. Really good team. They could certainly win it all. I have no disagreements with how good they are. I think Brandon Miller is the best player in college basketball. So I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. Kansas. I'm kind of out on Kansas personally, but that's just me. I think the stat I gave out on the college basketball video was that nobody since Florida repeated, no defending champion since Florida repeated has made it past the Sweet 16, which was, I think that was like 2006-ish time. So it's been quite a few years. And I don't think Kansas is as strong as they have been. Matt, what's up? Matt, aren't you working? I guess it's 3. Maybe you're done working by now. But I think this Kansas team is a little bit weaker. Well, it's definitely weaker than last year's team. But I don't know. I don't love the Kansas team. And then you have they have a small injury question. Bill Self, we don't know his status. I think that's a big deal. So, and they're being picked crazily. Let me look here. To make the Final Four, they're the 3rd most popular pick overall. Almost 40% of brackets have Kansas in the Final Four. That's definite fade spot for me. Definite fade spot. Someone in Discord just asked, when will we get my bracket? Don't they know I'm on the stream? Come on here and ask me. DeJuan Houston, thank you. Yes, yeah. You know I like Houston. I think Houston's the best team in college basketball for sure. Top to bottom, best starting 5. They have experience, which is important. Yes, working. Oh yeah, you got the. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask Dom if you guys were doing that again, that Calcutta thing. What do you have an idea of what teams you guys are gonna try and get? I remember you guys have done that. I was gonna ask you and I forgot. I think that's a really interesting concept. Go vote for SJ's second taco. Yeah. If you guys are playing on Prize Picks, go vote for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's taco in their Discord so we can get that one. NBA picks. Yeah, we're gonna get to the picks. I'm gonna pull up the predictor and we'll give out some props for sure. Houston then Bama. Pretty much agree. I think that's the 2 best teams. Sasser's groin. I think Sasser's gonna be fine. So Austin, that's an interesting question because that would obviously that would change things for me if they came out and said like he might not play in the tournament. That would definitely change my thoughts. But it wasn't like a serious injury. Like I'm not discounting a groin because those can be annoying, but he just like randomly hurt it slipping. And then he like went through a full shoot around before that game against Memphis. I think if that was like a big tournament game, I think he would have played. They just didn't they don't care about winning their conference tournament, and it would be smarter to rest him. I could see them resting him in their first round game against Northern Kentucky as well. So I agree, Austin, that Sasser being out would affect my thoughts, but I think he's going to be fine because I think he could have played Sunday if he needed to. They just were being cautious. Spend it for Houston, UConn, Gonzaga, Arizona, and some cheap elos. Yeah, I think that's pretty smart. Matt, Dom and I were both kind of on the same teams when we were talking on that video, so they can get to Austin, I agree. I think they can win. I think they could win, their first 2 for sure without him. Then it gets maybe a little bit weirder, but I don't know. I think that what I think is interesting is that quadrant right below them where you have Indiana and Miami. I think both of those teams are upset candidates. So you also have a situation where, definitely if they get to that second game and they're playing, say, a Drake or something, for sure I think they would be fine resting Sasser for sure. What's going to suck is I'm really hoping – I think Texas is a sharp pick as well, but I'm really, really hoping someone knocks Texas off so Houston doesn't even have to play them. That would be so dope. If they get to the Elite Eight and they don't have to play Texas, that would be amazing. The one, I agree. Indiana's solid. I like Indiana. I do. But I like Kent State too. You guys know bet of the year on Saturday was Kent State moneyline to win their tournament, and I like their team a lot. I think they're better than. First of all, the MAC has performed kind of well in the tournament in recent years. They're experienced, like they're older guys. They're experienced. They have great guard play. They have great defense. They force a ton of turnovers. They're the exact, and they can shoot. Like people were like, this isn't a great shooting team. They have 3 guys that can shoot very well from 3. It's the exact type of team that can pull off an upset. And Indiana's been pretty streaky on the road. So if they come in overly confident, I really could see them losing. And I think Miami's too bad defensively to make a run. If you look at historically higher seeds that are outside the top, 140, 150 in defense, they always get upset early. So I just can't, despite how good Miami is offensively, and I think they are very good offensively, I don't think they can win 3 games with how bad their defense is. Like if Houston did play Miami, I think they would destroy them. But I agree, Indiana. Like I could see Indiana matching up with Houston. I think if Indiana played Miami and there's no upsets, I would probably lean Indiana. But I would have to think about it. Kent State is just it's a bad matchup for any team with how well they play defensively. Austin, you like Texas? I think if Texas was in the East against Purdue and Marquette and them, or like in place of Marquette, I would be taking Texas to the Final Four on every single one of my brackets. It's just super unfortunate that it worked out that they got put in with Houston. But I think Texas is a very good team. I think Texas could beat Houston. On one of my brackets, I have Texas like winning the championship. I think they definitely could. I just think they got unlucky getting placed in Houston's region, unfortunately. I find it interesting that 2 of the most 3 popular champion picks are Alabama and Kansas. I still think that's interesting. Bama, I guess I understand because they've been so good, but Kansas, man, I don't know. Teams don't repeat. They're not as good as they were last year. I guess people will say, and they're kind of like in the hardest bracket too. I mean, they have so many teams. I mean, on top of Kansas, you have obviously Gonzaga. You have UCLA, who is missing Clark, but still UCLA, very good team. You have Gonzaga. You have TCU, I think, is capable of making a run. You have UConn, who I think is capable of making a run. Like, there's 5, 6 very, very good teams that are the time to come out of that bracket. I really do not understand that. If I'm in a local area bracket, should I fade Kent State? Everyone around me will pick them. Yeah, that's an interesting take. I guess that goes. I'm in Northeast Ohio as well, so I guess I didn't really think if people would be picking Kent State. I don't think it will matter because I don't like even if Kent State wins, I think they'll probably lose the second game. So I think if you take them to win 2 games, or you just don't pick them. I think that's how I would look at that. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about it. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering if people around me will pick them. But I mean, the data, like, they're still not being picked like a crazy amount. They're still outside. Let me see here. Below 20% picked to win that first game. So it's still 80% on Indiana. But I guess it can change, like, if you're local to Kent State, some more people will be biased. Why can't we bet on women's college basketball? DeJuan, I'm not sure. I think you can make brackets on ESPN. But I like watching the women's tournament. DeJuan, I'm a big Dawn Staley fan. I have South Carolina women's basketball hoodie in my closet, so I'm a big Dawn Staley fan. So I like to watch the girls as well. Did you see Ken Palm's tweet? No team that has been seeded 1 or 2 that was unranked in the AP preseason poll have ever reached the Final Four. I did see that. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think there is some merit to that. And then when you look at both of those teams, Purdue specifically just is not good enough defensively for me to make a run to the Final Four. I think Zach Edey's amazing, but I think there's a problem that you run into when you rely so heavily on one singular player, especially if he gets in foul trouble. The refs are pretty lenient with him because he's so big. So to Dom made a point in Discord a few months ago, like he actually fouls at one of the lowest rates for his position in the country because the refs have to be lenient with him because he's just so much bigger than everybody. But there is the chance that he gets into foul trouble and they're screwed, one. Two, there's a chance that they just rely so heavily on him. If he doesn't have a great game, they're probably screwed. They have young guard play, which we don't like. And their defense is terrible. Even with Edey, their defense is not good. They're pretty bad. Historically, for a number one seed, they're one of the worst defensive one seeds I can remember in the last couple of years. So I don't think they can make a deep run. Marquette, I'm not super high on them. I think they ran pure to get in that bracket because I think it kind of sets up for them, but I don't really think they're going to go. So I think if you look at the data, Purdue is still the most popular pick. They're being picked on 33% of brackets to go to the Final Four. And then you have Marquette at 20%. So, over half of brackets are picking Purdue or Marquette. So I think there's a definite edge to not take one of those two. Duke is the third most popular at 15% picked right now. I think Duke could definitely make a run there hot at the right time. I know the trendy stat is Duke 17-1 when fully healthy this year. But, I'm not completely sold on them either. So we get into a situation where if you don't like Purdue and you don't like Marquette and you don't like Duke, you're looking at over 65% of all the brackets. And you're just like, who do you want to take? I think you can make a case for pretty much a lot of other teams in that region. I think you can make a case for Memphis. I think you can make a case for Kentucky. I think you can make a case even for Michigan State. Dom didn't talk much about Michigan State yesterday, which I'm surprised because he's a Michigan State fan. But I know this isn't your typical Michigan State team. But at the end of the day, the actual percentage of how far they're being picked based on their actual odds of winning those games, it's much lower. People are low on Michigan State. It's still Tom Izzo in March. So I think people are too low on Michigan State maybe. But that whole region, I think, is going to dictate how well you do in your bracket pools. I think if you pick the champion correctly and you hit on the Final Four team from that region, I think you're going to be set up very well in your pools. Because if Purdue doesn't make the Final Four and Marquette doesn't make the Final Four, you're taking out, 60% of your pool, probably higher. These are the raw percentages from all, 20 million ESPN brackets as well. When you factor that down to if you're playing in a pool with 50 people in your office or something, the percentages are probably going to be higher. Purdue's probably going to be higher than 40% pick. So if they don't make it and Marquette doesn't make it, if you hit on the Final Four team from that region and you hit on the champion, I think you're going to be in a really good spot to win your bracket pool. And that's even more merit, I think, to not playing those teams. Even though I don't love anyone in that region, the fact that so many people are just blindly picking Purdue and Marquette because they're the 1 and 2 seed and they don't like anyone else in that region, that's even more reason not to pick them and just take your chances on any of the other teams. I'm hoping Arkansas can upset Kansas. I think they could. I think whoever wins that game, Arkansas and Illinois both could win that game, and I think both could upset Kansas. Arkansas in particular, I haven't really decided who I want to take in that game. I typically build my brackets backwards. So I try to pick out who I think is going to win, who I think is going to go to the Final Four, and then I'll fill in from there. Arkansas in particular, they're accustomed to these runs, back-to-back years making these runs with Musselman as coach. I think he's a good coach. I think they have the talent to do it. They've been more inconsistent this year than they were the last 2 years, which worries me a little bit. But I do think whoever wins between Arkansas and Illinois, I think could knock Kansas off. I'm not taking Kansas far anyways, so it wouldn't matter if they lost in that second round matchup or not. Love the team with the best coach in these weak regions. Yeah, I completely agree. That's why I think there's the one thing with Duke. I like Duke's coach, but it's still, it's still his first year, and history hasn't been kind to teams winning the title with a first-year coach. So that's why I think there's merit to just leaning on. I hate Kentucky. I hate them. Despise them. I said it on the bracket video yesterday. I don't like the team. I think they're inconsistent. They annoy me, but I think Michigan State or Kentucky right now are the best picks out of that region. It's annoying, but that is what it is. Yeah. I think those are the two best teams to pick from there. But I would not be shocked if Michigan State somehow ended up in the Final Four, especially this season. It's just been so weird. Thinking underdog wins it. Yeah, I could see that. That's why I think Texas could win. I think UConn could win. No one likes UConn, I guess, because of Hurley. But I mean, I've been on UConn all year. I think they're a top 5 team. I think their starting 5 is very good, and the numbers love them. I mean, if you believe in any numbers at all, I mean, the numbers absolutely love UConn, but they're just not being picked. Only 2% to win the championship. 4.5% to make it to the championship, and then 10% under to make it to the Final Four. So no one is picking UConn. Texas preseason number 2. Yeah, Texas is a very good team. I actually we had a future. I posted it in Discord, but we actually hit Texas to win the Big 12 tournament. I think we got them at like plus 380 before the tournament, so that was nice. But I think Texas is very good. Even Texas, I mean, only see here because they're in there with Houston to make it to the Final Four, only around 20%. To make it to the championship game, only around 13%. So still very, very low percentage for Texas. So I do think that's a really sharp pick, especially if you're not taking Houston anyways, like just picking them to lose to Texas, I think makes some sense. Like if you're going into it saying like, I don't want to pick Houston, then you might as well just have them lose to Texas then in the Elite Eight. I think that makes sense. College picks for tonight. Yeah. Like I said, there's NIT tonight, and then there's the 2 games for the actual tournament. We put like one play in the Discord. I did make one play, which I thought was fun, because I think Pittsburgh can upset Mississippi State tonight. So we did in the Champions League games today, Manchester City and Inter Milan. We did both of them to advance. They're huge favorites to advance, but we parlayed those 2 with the Pittsburgh upset, Pittsburgh money line. It's like plus 125, plus 130. So we did those 3 teams for a parlay. I think it paid out, I don't know, plus 250, plus 300 or something. So I think that was a interesting little play we put in. But as far as the college games, I don't bet on the college props enough to really put any plays in for that. I would lean Corpus Christi's going to win their game, but they are missing one of their better players, so I think that kind of affects things. But I still think that they'll probably win their game. But it sucks that they're missing one of their better players. Texas is winning it all. I think Texas can win it all. So whoever called that out from Facebook, it's a pretty sharp call. I don't disagree. All right, I'm gonna pull up the prize picks predictor. We're gonna go through the injuries for today's NBA slate, and then we'll kind of talk about some prop picks real quick. So, like I said, it's like a 7-8 game slate. The Pistons are on this slate again, and I'm just so sick of the Pistons. If you guys play NBA DFS, if you bet on NBA props, you're probably also sick of the Pistons. But it's only March 14th, and I'm sick of the Pistons. Hami Diallo is still out. Alec Burks is still out. Isaiah Stewart is still out. Marvin Bagley is still out. Now, Isaiah Livers is also going to be out tonight. Jaden Ivey is still out. Bojan Bogdanovic is still out. And Corey Joseph is questionable. So literally half of the injury list for today I just rattled off is from the Detroit Pistons. So what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to see a lot of Hampton tonight, especially if Corey Joseph misses. We're going to see that Omarui guy that was going off last night. I think we're going to see some of him. Wiseman, he's been balling out. Wiseman's been balling since the Warriors traded him. So we're going to get some more of him. And I don't know, man. Magruder, Boeheim, I truthfully don't know with the Pistons tonight. All I know is the Pistons screwed us in props last night. I'm not betting on any Pistons players tonight. I'm done. I'm done with the Pistons for this week. Maybe next week we'll revisit and I might consider betting on them again, but I don't want to deal with the Pistons tonight. LeBron's still out. I mean, that's pretty standard. KD's still out. That's pretty standard. The Cavs are going to be without no Jared Allen and no Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs. So, Garland gets a big bump. Karis LeVert gets a bump with no Mitchell. We'll probably see Stevens start with Mobley if I had to guess, but Mobley gets a bump up for sure as well. Brunson's doubtful, so it's the same situation there for the Knicks. Quickly is going to start. He gets a bump up. RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, those guys get a bump up. Josh Hart's been playing good basketball as well for the Knicks. Ingram is questionable again. Najee Marshall, Trey Murphy, kind of the same situation there. CJ McCollum can do more. Jamal Murray's questionable. Reggie Jackson would get a boost. Brown would get a boost as well. And I think that's pretty much it. Lillard. Damian Lillard is questionable as well, so we'll see what's up with that. I mean, if he was out, Simons is back, and he went off the other day, so we would be interested in him. I think Reddish would probably start again. Like, they just move Simons to point guard and then start Reddish. And then all the other starters, I think, would get a boost as well. So, yeah. And then I don't think Middleton is going to play for the Bucks. And then Mark Williams is out for the Hornets. That's it. A lot of injuries today. Not a huge slate, but a lot going on. Coinciding with Mark Williams being out, you can see the number one play in our prize picks predictor here on the screen. PJ Washington points over. It's a 30.5% difference in our projections. His line's at 15.5. We have him over 20 points. The predictor has absolutely loved PJ Washington the last week, and he's been smashing. He's gone over 15.5 in 3 straight. I like him. I like this number too. I like the over 15.5 from tonight. You can take him over pretty much anything. If I go to any stat, it's going to like him over. He's the highest point differential for fantasy points as well. Line's at 27.5. We have him over 35 fantasy points. Highest for PRAs, 34% difference. Line's 23.5. We met 31. I think the PRAs is my favorite. So if you're going to bet on PJ Washington tonight, I think his over on points, rebounds, assists is the number one pick. So that's going to be my favorite play today is PJ Washington over PRAs. But if you want to bet him just the points, if you want to bet fantasy points on prize picks, whatever you guys want, you can do it. But I think that PRAs is the best number. Someone in chat said that Quentin Grimes, again, you can see Quentin Grimes is grading out as a positive value in our fantasy points. His line's at 16.5. We have him over 18.5 fantasy points. He gets a boost as well with no Brunson. I mean, it's not as big of a boost as someone like Quickly or RJ Barrett gets, but Grimes does get an increase. So I'm fine taking that for sure. Another guy that I'm interested in betting on tonight, we've kind of been riding him, but our boy Jalen Williams from the Thunder. Slightly into the over. His PRA's numbers at 23.5. I'm at 25. Again, even with SGA there, like I think Jalen Williams is someone I'm comfortable betting on pretty much for the rest of the season. He's looked really good. He's going to keep getting as many minutes as he can handle as the season winds down. He's been aggressive, trying to score the ball. But I'm a big Jalen Williams fan, so I think you can bet on him tonight. But PJ Washington looks to be far and away the clear number one play. Our boy Pirtle is grading out positively again as well. We've kind of been riding him. Not as big of a difference on his points plus rebounds, though. You can see 28.5. We met 30, so a little bit closer on that projection. But some people, Zach Collins looked good. So many Spurs. Yeah, Zach Collins. The predictors like Collins for a few days as well. It's not a super high on him today, but given the situation with the Spurs, I think I would be comfortable. With it. And like you can see even though the predictor doesn't like him, the line is 31.5. Him at 30. So it's close enough that where if you feel convicted with Collins, like don't let that stop you from betting him. I think the projection and the line are close enough. It's just 31.5 is a pretty high number for Collins in particular, but given how shorthanded they are, like you brought up, I think it's still probably fine. Any other picks? I don't love this NBA slate, to be quite honest with you. I think I agree with the numbers, how much that it likes PJ Washington. Okoro is an interesting one because he's grading out so well. It's tough for me to want to bet on Isaac Okoro though, because I feel like he's very dependent on making 3-pointers. He's been better this season shooting the three, way better than he was as a rookie. He's still been streaky, but he's been better this season. But if he's able to make 2 or 3 threes tonight, I think he'll easily go over that 16.5 number. But if he only makes 1 3-pointer, I think it's going to be tough for him to get to that 17-point mark that we need. So that one's a little bit riskier, I think. I think I would prefer betting on someone like Quentin Grimes than I would Okoro tonight. So if you wanted like a mid-range guy like Okoro to bet on, the lines are the exact same. So I would just bet on Grimes, I think, over Okoro. But they're close. And the numbers prefer Okoro slightly, but I think I slightly prefer Quentin Grimes personally. If you guys have any other bets you'd like to talk about, post them in the chat and we can go over them. If not, probably head out of here pretty soon. We're going to go watch these UCL games. Like I said, we bet Man City to qualify. We bet Inter Milan to qualify, and then we parlayed those two with Pittsburgh money line tonight in college basketball for a plus money payout. So hopefully City should move on at home, but Leipzig scares me. They're a good team, but City should get the job done at home, and I think Inter Milan is just better than their opponents. So thank you for the stream. Thank you for watching. We do the show every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, even Thursday and Friday. When the tournament's going on, I'll still be live doing this video. So we'll have like maybe some college picks and stuff to give out then, but there'll still be NBA games going on and stuff. So Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. It also goes on iTunes, just listening. It does go on iTunes afterwards. Search, DFS Karma, Bet Karma on iTunes, and you'll see it. And then the video is up for replay as well. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Good luck with your bets tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.